possessed of land, livelihood, and culture. The things we write about are traumatic. Racism is brutal. So we want to issue a blanket content warning for all of it. We have written this book in a way that we hope will introduce painful material slowly and intentionally. We want to support our readers in taking in the information without being overwhelmed. But we cannot pick and choose where to put content warnings because racism is traumatic. We hope reading this book will help you develop the skill and agility to challenge racism in ways that can change this reality. Other things to know about this book. You'll notice that we, the narrator, is plural. We includes both Toni and Allie. We are a multiracial team. Toni is Black, Allie is white. Otherwise, this book is our collective adaptation of Robin DiAngelo's book, White Fragility. It is an adaptation of her words and work, but it is not the same book. Here are some of the ways it is different. It has been adapted for young adults to include developmentally appropriate material in terms of language, examples, and concepts. The author and artist team is made up of one Black woman, one Black man, and two white women who worked in consultation with Robin, a white woman. We have worked with youth readers, youth focus groups, and teachers to determine what material and language will be most relevant for a young adult adaptation. We have added images and drawings to help the concepts come alive on the page. This version includes a chapter on navigating media, social and otherwise. This version also includes a chapter on taking action. Once you understand white fragility, what can you do? You will find some answers in Chapter 10. As you flip through the book, you will see portraits of some of the scholars and activists whose work influenced Robin's theory of white fragility. Robin connects to other authors, citing them and honoring their work. And like most authors, she helps readers see their work in a new light by putting a unique frame around the whole. In this case, she uses her own experience and research to develop the concept of white fragility. We chose to highlight some of the scholars whose work Robin deeply respects to give you a sense of the intellectual roots of this concept that you are learning. Throughout the book, Toni and Allie share personal stories. They are marked as such with the name of the author following the story. You will also see scripted quotes from Robin. These quotes are impactful statements that appear here exactly as they appeared in the original White Fragility. Finally, you may notice that we don't start talking about white fragility in earnest until Chapter 4. That is because it's hard to understand white fragility without understanding where it comes from, what's underneath it, and why it's so powerful. The first half of the book will lay the foundation. Hang in there, your patience will be rewarded, we promise. The second half will help you identify white fragility, recognize the feelings underneath it, see how it impacts your capacity to contribute to racial justice, and decide what to do about it. Introductions. Introduction from Robin DiAngelo, author of White Fragility. I grew up in poverty, in a family in which no one was expected to go to college. I understood at an early age that the world was not a fair place, but I had only ever thought about how it was unfair to me. Like most white people, I lived a segregated life. My neighborhoods, my schools, my friends, and my teachers were all mostly white. At the same time, I believed I was completely open-minded when it came to race, and I knew all I needed to know. Many white people thought this way, even though we didn't talk openly about race or study it in school beyond being told that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had ended racism. But one day, I took a job that required me to lead discussions on racism in the workplace. This was the first time in my life that I had ever talked directly about race, and I had never discussed race before in a racially mixed group. My worldview was shaken to the core during these discussions as people of color shared their experiences and challenged my limited understanding. I felt like a fish being taken out of water. The contrast between the way people of color experienced the world and the way I did showed me that I did not share the same reality with everyone around me. I realized that, regardless of how I had always seen myself, I was deeply uninformed, even ignorant when it came to the complexities of racism. This ignorance was not harmless. It impacted how I saw myself and how I related to others. It made me defensive when anyone challenged my self-image as a completely open-minded person with no bias whatsoever. I saw this same defensiveness in many other white people whenever our ideas about racism and our relationship to it were questioned. I began to call these reactions white fragility, the inability or refusal to tolerate the discomfort that comes from being racially challenged. In 2000.